a great track. I don't know who did it, but thank you for playing me in. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Rich, aka Library Monster, and yeah, we're finally starting up the podcast. I'm glad that all of those who supported and showed interest in the show, and hopefully they're listening now. Oh boy, where to start? Okay, so as you could probably see from the graphic, if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a story out of the Daily Beast. It's called "How America Became a Country Full of Assholes," and underneath it says "Not a good look" for those that are listening to it. I got a problem with this. No, to be fair to them, they're talking about a upcoming documentary that's called "Assholes: A Theory," that apparently is supposed to be examining the rise of assholeism or assholery in our society, and the implication is that Donald Trump is the pinnacle of asshole, and so because he's the president, that says something about assholes being just running rampant throughout our society. I have an issue with this because, okay, they never mention, and they write it in the article, in the Daily Beast article, they write that they don't mention Trump by name, or they don't even show his image in the movie. And the movie hasn't come out yet. I would like to see it, to be honest with you, but it hasn't come out yet. I think it's supposed to be coming out on the 30th. And yeah, October 30th, it's going to be in theaters, and video on demand on November 6th. Now, my issue with this isn't what you think it is, right? It has nothing to do with politics or any of that. It's just, the fact is, it seems like they're thinking way too small. See, for me, I think that we're all assholes. I really do. I think that we are all assholes in that human beings themselves lend themselves to asshole. The human experience lends itself to being an asshole. What do I mean by that? Well, we evolved from these early primates, as the scientific dogma says, right? And when you think about that, we lived like primates. Now, if you don't think there's asshole monkeys out there, trust me, talk to a couple of zoologists. They'll tell you, it just seems like in the state of nature, assholes run the show. I mean, the biggest, strongest, most self-interested primate is probably going to be the one that leads the troop, is the alpha, and it's probably going to be the one that gets to procreate and live, and the rest are just survival of the fittest. I think that kind of happened to us, man. I mean, what's to say that we haven't been led by assholes because evolutionarily we had to be for survival. So I don't think this is an American thing, and I think that that's what the producers of the film were trying to kind of steer at. I haven't seen the film. I don't know exactly what slant or what kind of narrative they were trying to paint with this, or even if they were just approaching it like a legitimate, scientific exploration. So, I don't want to do the film a disservice because I haven't seen it. If I do get a chance to see it, I will do a review on it. But I think that anytime you go, oh, this is an American problem, I think you're not thinking worldly enough. I think usually these problems exist everywhere, and it's more of a human issue than an American one. I think that, look, I live in New York. Okay, I was born and raised in here, and I can tell you, I've run into assholes from every race, creed, religion, from the four corners of the earth, speaking every possible language. There are assholes everywhere, and I think that is because we owe our survival to them in our evolutionary past. Now, being an asshole is a detriment. I mean, no one wants to be around you. But back in the day, back in the year Pebble or whatever, you know, that being big, loud, mean, these things helped you survive. And I think at our core, we're still a part of that evolutionary history. You can't just have a creature, any creature, go through so many changes for millions of years and expect that the wiring, the internal wiring of that creature to just be drastically different when it's been doing the same thing in the same type of brutal kind of environment for all that time. And I think it's interesting. I think that asshole might. I think the character of the asshole might hold some secrets for us about who we are as a species and where we're going. Ironically, so I don't know. I don't know if I agree with these people. Um, I'll have to do a review on that. I'll have to do a review on this movie because I think that they're not being fair. And not to like Trump or anything, they're just not being fair to Americans. It's just like, no, we're not the assholes. Maybe we're louder about it, but I think that yeah, assholes are everywhere. So, moving right along, and sticking with the theme of movies, I'm experiencing Borat fatigue. I don't know about you guys. I really I haven't even seen the movie. I haven't seen the movie, and I like Sacha Baron Cohen. I love his comedy. I'm sure if I saw it, I would probably laugh. The thing that is, it's just it seems like it's everywhere. That's all people talk about is Borat right now. And to be fair, I could be in a bubble. I could be in a New York bubble because, apparently, Giuliani, former mayor of New York, current lawyer to President Trump, um, was caught in a compromising position in the movie. I don't know. I've heard that some of that's BS. People said that it wasn't as bad as it seemed, or they made it seem. It was all hype. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. I don't know. All I know is that I'm just tired of hearing about it. Like maybe I'll get around to watching it. I don't know. I probably think I probably won't watch it, to be honest with you. I feel like I've heard everything about it already. But this was interesting. The Apparently there's a scene where a babysitter was duped into babysitting Borat's daughter or whatever, and the person that was the babysitter that was tricked or whatever only received like about $3,600 for their appearance in the movie. Now, Borat. I mean, Borat is a name. You know what I mean? It's one of his most popular characters. So obviously, this film has generated millions of dollars. So people felt bad for her, that they felt like she got cheated. I feel like she got gypped too. I mean, $3,600 to be in a movie that you're probably gonna get a little humiliated in. I mean, come on, like could have did her better than that. But in this day and age, a good story sells, and people felt bad for her, and they started like a GoFundMe, and they raised $50,000 for this girl, and I think honestly that's great. But I honestly think that, come on, the movie producers should have did her better than that. They it really shouldn't have fell to the fans to kind of compensate for their lack of just do the right thing. You know what I mean? Like just I mean maybe 50,000 is excessive. For her role in the film, it's not like she's a professional actress or any of this kind of thing. But I mean, 10 grand. A nice round $3,600. Come on. They should. I mean, at this point, we all should get $3,600 for living through COVID. We all might at the end of it. You never know with the stimulus packages and all that. But I digress from that. I'm just saying, like, don't be cheap. Don't be cheap. Come on. Like, it's not like Borat. It's not like Borat was not a thing already. That's the thing. Like, I could see if this was like a new a character he was breaking in, and no one kind of knew how if it would work, if anyone would come see the movie, if it was a really low budget film. I could see them just paying her whatever in that case. But I'm proud of the fans, but I'm kind of sad they didn't do better by her. As far as like I said, like the film goes, I'm just exhausted with it already. I really don't want to. It's not that I don't want to see it. I know it'll be funny. I know it will. It's just they just keep going on. But you know what? It's not even their fault. It's not the producer's fault. It's not even Sacha Baron Cohen's fault. It's I think there's not enough films. Like the usually, especially around this time, Halloween, you always were hearing about movie after movie after movie. Scary movies, especially. You don't hear anything about that. We're living through a freaking scary movie right now with COVID. So you're just not we're not hearing anything. I mean, Borat seems like the biggest thing to happen other than COVID. Like the biggest positive thing, the thing that would make people laugh. So maybe it's just that they're focusing on it a lot and not to just hype up the film, but because it's something. You know, it's not. I mean, because I haven't heard of any really good movies that are coming out. None. Everything got put on hold. Releases got delayed. You know, and you know, movie theaters they're done, man. They're closed. I still have a Regal gift card that I'll probably never get to use because Regal is finished. I hope I'm right about that. I'm not saying that they're done and they're not, but I think they're done. I think I remember reading that they're under and it's over. And that's it is so weird to think that you just can't go, yeah, let's go to the movies. Can't do it. You just can't do it. I mean, the drive-ins are coming back, so that's a cool thing, but it's not enough. It's not enough to sustain an industry that was pulling in billions and billions. It still is. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the same, man. Like I mean, to produce these films, you know, maybe I'm being a little negative right now, and I don't want to be because there could be a silver lining to all of this. I mean, big budget blockbusters may have just run their course. You know, these giant productions with all of these people in them. Maybe, you know, now that that's really not feasible anymore, maybe smaller budget films will get a chance, you know? Handful of actors, handful of stage hands, and you know, it's easier to control, easier to be safer with COVID, and maybe they'll get somewhere, get some traction. Who knows? But I'm very interested in where we're gonna go as far as the entertainment industry is gonna go. So, I mean, if anyone has seen Borat, believe me, and if you think it's funny, let me know. You know, let me know in the comments. You know, because I'm gonna need to. I think I'm gonna need to be pushed a little bit to go see this film, and it's unfortunate. It's like I said, I love Sacha Baron Cohen. It's funny. I mean, the guy's funny. You got to give him that much. And all of his characters, really. I mean, he really gets into character, and it's amazing. So, I mean, if I do see it, I'll do a review on that. That could be another show. And so, shifting gears a little bit, something I really wanted to get into, even though it doesn't really fit anywhere, I'm just going to talk about it because to hell with transitional stuff. China has created a monster more destructive than the COVID. They created a cashless society. This article out of the New York Times, cabbies get mad at you over there if you pay in cash. They don't like it. There's no cash. I mean, there's cash, but it's not. It's seen like it's like an anachronism. They're phasing it out. It's almost gone, man. It is wild to me. This is some kind of Orwellian nightmare. And here's the thing, China. We know China's a totalitarian country. I mean, it is, right? But they are hurtling towards a technocracy and of just scary and unbelievable oppression. I what frightens me is that kind of attitude coming over here, making its way to our shores. Cashless society? Are you serious? Like, the amount of control that the government has over there is unbelievable in terms of the technology that they're employing to maintain their population. Um, and the people are just, I mean, they're going along with it. You know what it is? It was a gradual thing, I think. A gradual expansion of power in their society. They got accustomed to having their internet very regulated. They got accustomed to using, technology pretty much all the time because it was a means for the government to track people. Everyone gets a cell phone, and the phone, you have to do pretty much everything with your phone. But it became so like, oh yeah, that's just, it's just China. That's how we do things, right? And now they're just moving. They're moving away in a hurry from cash, and I'm floored. I'm floored by it. It's such a, as I said, it's such an out of a dystopian novel kind of thing, and it's amazing to me that American companies are culpable in that. The technology that we created has allowed them to be able to do this, and the fact is that we do business with them. It's such a marriage made in hell. and we, like, how do you sleep at night sometimes? There are people there who are on the verge of just being these drones because the individual's just crushed. It's just, they just imagine that. Imagine being part, and they already have a social credit score. That's another thing they have over there. The social credit score. In other words, you act up too much, here's what you can't do now. You can't get on a train. You can't visit your family. You can't do this. You can't do that. Because you said something or littered or something like that. Now, you may say that, hey, there has to be repercussions for people doing dumb things. And I'm like, fair enough. The problem is, where does it end? You see what I'm saying? Like, and how far does it? And then there are people behind this thing, right? So I mean, if you think that corruption over here is bad, over there, it's ridiculous. Imagine your family. If your family is part of the party over there, right? They're not going to be subject to the same restrictions as your average everyday Chinese person. They're just not, because they're a party member. They're a Communist Party member. Their family is connected. That's the thing. That's the thing I always hated about the ideology of communism. It really encourages corruption in that everything has to happen through who you know, who you're connected to. It can't happen on your own merits. You have to be of a certain. It's not. It's such a. They remove all classes and make everyone equal supposedly, but it's like it's like the saying, some are more equal than others. If you catch the reference to Animal Farm there. And that's what they're living through, and now they're taking another step, getting rid of cash altogether. I think it's going to happen here. I think it's only a matter of time before it happens in the United States. I mean, we're already moving towards that now. Eventually, someone's going to go, cash is dirty, and we got to get rid of that, and it's going to go. But I worry what that means. I don't know. I just don't trust. maybe I have to have a more trusting disposition with people. And that brings us to the book for this week. It's Anthem by Ayn Rand. Oh, look, I actually have a tab with it open. Let me just show you guys that. Anthem by Ayn Rand. Now, I'm not a huge Randian, and you may think that from some of the things I've said here, but I'm a person who believes in freedom and liberty. So I'm and I believe in individualism. That's the thing that makes it attractive. But I liked this book. I didn't really like Atlas Shrugged that much. I read that too. But I liked Anthem because one, it's shorter. It's not as wordy. It's not as dense, and it gets the point across. It's a story about a society much like the one I described in China, where, but it seems like it takes place in like a post-apocalyptic future, and the human race is like experiencing a reset, kind of. Everyone has kind of embraced a collectivist kind of existence, and in this collective existence, you're given certain, designations. Some people have numbers. Some people have goofy names in accordance with. She digs a lot. The author Ayn Rand. She gives a lot of jabs to like the UN and things like that. Any kind of collectivist kind of organization. And so the people generally live kind of very mundane, low tech lives. Apparently, it took a long time for them to embrace the candle again. Like it had to go through committees after committees, and there's like a core group that is constantly regulating and over regulating what people can know and what people can do and create, out of fear that somehow innovation will cause a catastrophe. It's never said outright what happened really to the world, but more it's more implied that maybe the reason why they're like this is because some kind of innovation caused the catastrophe or whatever. That's neither here nor there. It's the image of the light bulb is very prominent in the book. It symbolizes the light of an individual's creative essence, their need to know and not have their creation and their growth stunted by the collective. And in fact, the main character creates the light bulb again. But obviously the people in the characters are unfamiliar with this technology, and they are fearful of it. Like they actually go out of their way to repress this invention, and he has to take off into the wilderness, which he does. There's also a love story involved. It's very interesting how the description, the narrative takes the individual and yet shows the need to couple, right, without falling prey to this we're all together kind of ideology that just kills off the needs of the individuals. So like you can see that the main character and his love interest are plagued by the need that there's almost a selfish need in each one of them to be with the other person, and that kind of latching on to another person is frowned upon in the society. You're not supposed to have those kind of deep attachments to other individuals. You're supposed to have a general kind of broad affection for everyone in the community, and that extends to the act of reproduction. So I found it very interesting. And while I was reading it, it just made me think of where we're going as as a as a civilization, as a society. I hope our society isn't, but I think overall we might be collectively, ironically, collectively moving towards something like that. And for a free thinker like myself, I don't know how well that's gonna go, but you can hear it being played out. So thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it. And again, lots of love and kisses to everyone that has supported this project since I first mentioned it, and finally bringing it to fruition. And it's been great. And there's so much more to do, so much more to come. I just hope you guys are here and listening. And if you are, then thank you so much, and take care.